Hope things are going well. Hopefully it went well. I know some of you met and watched it. Probably I'm going to be getting interrupted. I hope not. The kids are in the other room and they're going crazy. And I only have 15 minutes of recording. I'm getting a little bit limited on YouTube. They're making me segment it out. So we'll do the best we can and we'll just go with it. So I'm going to be looking down several times and just going to be recording two screens at once. So we're going to get straight into 3 John again. If you remember, we left off at verse 9. In 3 John, you should see that actually on the screen. And we stopped here when we were going to be talking about Diotrephes, or Diotrephes, depending on how you say it. Let me just go ahead and read from verse 9 to the rest of the chapter, and you can follow along. I have written something to the church. Now, we don't know what this is necessarily. Probably not 2 John. That was my first inclination, but I've read some commentators that make me question that. I've written something to the church, but Diotrephes, who likes to put himself first, does not acknowledge our authority. So, if I come, I will bring up what he is doing, talking wicked nonsense against us. And not content with that, he refuses to welcome the brothers and also stops those who want to, and puts them out of the church. Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. Whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Demetrius has received a good testimony from everyone and from the truth itself. Also add our testimony, and you know that our testimony is true. I had much to write to you, but I would rather not write with pen and ink. I hope to see you soon, and we will talk face to face. Peace be to you. The friends greet you. Greet the friends, each by name. 3 John. All right. So first, we can just kind of look at this together. I'm only going to focus on mainly this man right here, and I am going to conclude the book in this video. Demetrius, jump down to verse 12. Demetrius, or Demetrius. There's not a whole lot said about him other than the fact that he has received a good testimony from everyone. It seems to be what John is trying to do is he's trying to say, clear up some things with Gaius and say, Diotrephes, no good. Demetrius, by the way, he does have a good report. It's as though Gaius may have had some questions about this man. Is he legit? Is he a genuine believer, genuine, maybe traveling missionary? The point that John's making is he's affirming Gaius and he's giving him a good testimony, saying he's received a good testimony from 3 things. 1, he's received it from everyone. 2, from the truth itself. And then 3, he says we also add our testimony. And you know that our testimony is true. I believe that's the apostolic testimony. So much for Demetrius. Let's go back over here to Diotrephes. The main point, I think, of this letter, once again, is to write to Gaius, to tell him what's the proper way in which he should treat traveling missionaries, and how should he do this, and what does it mean to be a genuine believer and act like a genuine believer for these people. He's given some specific instructions, and then he gives this guy as an example of what not to follow. We know this because he says down here in verse 11, do not imitate evil, but imitate good. So here's someone we don't imitate. Let's unpack this guy. What do we know about him? Pretty much the only thing that we know is this right here, this information. So let's go line by line, verse by verse, as we like to do. First thing that he says is this is a man who likes to put himself first. And attached to putting himself first, he does not acknowledge our authority. So, a few things we can say about this. One, He's prideful. He's a man that's filled with pride. So much pride that John switches the pronoun here. He doesn't say my authority, he says our. And a lot of times when John does this, what does he do? And actually you can see it at the very bottom in verse 12 when he says we also add our testimony. That could be John speaking on behalf of the church in which he's at, or probably more likely it's referring to what I've already written, apostolic authority. Diotrephes is so prideful, so much wanting to put himself first, he doesn't even acknowledge the authority that God has given in the people of the apostles. And they have apostolic authority, let alone we're talking about John. You have Peter, James, and John mentioned even in Galatians. And Paul recognized them as pillars. He recognized them as pillars. I'm sorry for exiting out of that. And John here is writing, and he's saying, you're not even recognizing our authority. So he's puffed up with pride. I'll rewrite this on the screen. Doesn't acknowledge, doesn't submit. He's what you might call insubordinate. This is something that causes major division as we will see. Let's look at verse 10. So, if I come, he's saying, if I'm able to make my trip there to you, I will bring up what he is doing. So he outlines for us here, what is this guy doing? What is this man doing here? 1, talking. His words, what is he saying? He's wicked nonsense against, and here's the plural again, against us. Talking wicked nonsense. What was the content of this nonsense? We don't know. We just know that he's fabricating a narrative that's fake, and that's wicked, and it's stupid. John, he says it's nonsense. It doesn't even make sense for him to say these things. And not content with that, look what he goes on. He says, not content with that, he doesn't stop there. He refuses to welcome the brothers. So let's paint that picture. Diotrephes is there in church, and this idea of welcoming the brothers is as though when the brothers are coming to church, it's as though that when these brothers arrive, the church would have known that they were coming, and he refuses to recognize them, doesn't welcome them, doesn't give them the right hand of fellowship, recognizing them as either authoritative or brothers or show them any love. This kind of gives the hint that Diotrephes probably was maybe a leader, a fake leader in the church, or a leader that allowed power to go to his head, maybe even money. And so much so, he doesn't want to welcome the brothers because he doesn't want to let go of his own authority in doing so. You see this with narcissistic people. They're so self-focused, so power-hungry. They want to do is they want to put others out. And here it's the case with, this is non-Christian narcissism, so to speak, or really messed up Christian pride, you can call it that, is he's not even welcoming the brothers. And then doesn't even stop there. This is quite amazing. Look again at the verse. And also stops those who want to. Okay, so brothers coming into the church, let's welcome them. Let's give them some food. Let's have a banquet. Let's really be excited about these missionaries that are coming to see us. He says, no, you can't even celebrate when you get there. You can't help them. You can't give them money. You can't give them food or lodging. Literally stopping the work of fruit, trying to stop the fruit of other believers. So he stops those who want to. That also kind of gives the indication that he may have had some authority that people recognize. And he goes even further. He takes those people and puts them out of the church. This is a type of excommunication. It seems that he's trying to do. So this is a power struggle that we're seeing here. He has this recognized authority in the church. He's so puffed up with pride that he's trying to take his authority and go against the authority of the apostles, the apostolic authority, doesn't allow them to doesn't welcome the brothers himself, speaks against the true authority, doesn't welcome the brothers, stops those who want to welcome the brothers, and then puts them out of the church. Lest there be anyone else recognizing someone else's status, anyone else being shown honor other than him. You can't put up with that. He doesn't let anyone else, genuine brothers, receive honor or love or welcome. Well, this is wicked. This is someone who needs to be removed from office. I would like to have been there. If John did show up, if I come, I will bring up what he is doing. That would be a good reckoning to see. Well, I need to move on a little bit quicker here. I think I'm going a little too slow. John then says, "Beloved, do not imitate evil, but imitate good." Here is where it boils down to. If you are not a good person, someone who does good, a doer of good works, then you don't know God. Because whoever does good is from God. Whoever does evil has not seen God. Now, this doesn't mean, of course, that Christians don't make mistakes. That's not what he's saying. We're talking about whoever lives this way. Whoever lives this way. Whoever lives this way. God has given us good works to do, which he prepared beforehand in advance for us to walk in. This is Ephesians chapter 2. Diotrephes is not doing this. He is not living like this. He is a doer of evil. And the example are those things I just lined out there. I don't think I gave the numbers here, but he was talking wicked nonsense, not content with that. 2, he didn't welcome the brothers. 3, stopped those who wanted to. And then 4, put them out of the church. There's your evidence, fourfold evidence against him being a doer of wickedness. But then John ends it with a good note with Demetrius. He's got a good testimony. Here is someone that you should try to imitate. And he's got a threefold witness for him. He's got everyone he's got everyone in this corner. He's got a testimony from the truth itself. He's in step with the gospel. And then our testimony, the apostolic testimony, which is a true testimony. John closes the letter with something that's very affectionate, and we've already seen this. I saw this at the very beginning. I would rather not communicate with you with pen and ink. Hope to see you soon. Hope that we can talk face to face. Last thing he wants to say is peace to you. The friends greet you, greet the friends, each of them by name. Very personal. A short letter. Packed in there, John has a lot to say. There's a lot we can learn from this. I want to end with, I'll have a word of prayer for us, but if you have any questions about this very confusing video, I'm trying to work the best I can. Hopefully it wasn't too confusing. If you do have some questions, let me know. You can email me or you can send me a text. But I confess, I thought 3 John was going to be difficult because it was so short, but it's just packed so full of great things, of wonderful things. And let us not imitate evil, but imitate good. And the best person that we can look to is Christ. And so I'm going to pray for us, and then we'll conclude. Please be in touch if you want to say some words of encouragement, or you have any questions or anything I can do for you. Let me pray. Lord, thank you for this day, and I pray for forgiveness, for often we do sin. And I pray that you'll help us through this. I also pray that you'll please be with us as families as we try to navigate the difficult waters of parenting, as we are dealing with just how to do parenting now and as at home all the time. And Lord, I pray for that the weather would be better in our area. I pray for all the churches across the nation that you please bless us and give us strength and help us to grow even now in this difficult time.